Hello, everyone. I have it as 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Matthew Strine. I am the Chief Learning Officer at eReflect. eReflect being the makers of Typesy, as you can see on the shirt, and also Wordella. We will be talking about actually both software platforms today. Just as an update, number one, my title was updated. So if you watched any of the other videos or attended any of the webinars, you probably heard anything from sales director of Northeast, which I right now for at least still have those responsibilities, and then also resident educator, which is how I came to be with the organization. Started doing professional development with them about 6 years ago now. Chief Learning Officer simply means basically I will be the one overseeing all of the instructional content that gets added to Wordella, and then also reviewing things as we make adjustments and upgrades with Typesy. So that is my role at this time. Um, Another thing that I wanted to update you on is today you're going to see me jumping back and forth at this present moment on Tuesday, May 26, 2026. We have two different websites that I'll be working from today. We have Typesy.com and we have Wordella.com. Within approximately the next month, so by the end of June of 2026, they will both be housed at eReflect.com. So again, eReflect is the parent company, the makers of Typesy, the makers of Wordella. But in the near future, I wouldn't have to do what I'm about to do today between four different screens, um, or four different tabs, I should say. Uh, I'll be able to do it with just two tabs. One tab being the admin interface, one tab being the student interface, whereas today I'm going to be working in the Typesy admin interface, the Typesy student interface, the Wordella admin interface, and then also the Wordella student interface. So that is quite a bit. That's why we're making a universal login for eReflect products. And I say products because they're very well maybe more down the line. With that being said, let me go ahead and tell you what we're going to do today. So I was looking back at the Tech Training Tuesday, the recordings from before, and I was looking at all my hashtags that I left that the team put onto the website for me. And the one thing that I saw that, or didn't see, I guess, that I was surprised I didn't see was the word assessment. So, as somebody that was working in a school or school system for 21 years in K 12 education, you're going to hear the word assessment quite a bit. And I'm sure you're all aware of that. So, today we're going to talk about assessment. We're going to talk about the two forms of assessment, how Typesy really allows for both formative assessment and summative assessment. And then at this time, really how Wordella allows for the summative assessment. So when we talk about these two different forms of assessment, I want to mention something that I saw recently that I had never seen before. And again, I just stepped out of the classroom as of January 2026 after 21 years as a teacher. I taught all grades from 2 to 12. I was a school principal for 5 years in a K-8 building. I was a technology director at the district level. I was a technology coach K through 12. So I've worn a lot of hats. But with that being said, when we talk about assessment, it's the idea that we want to know what's going on. And what I saw recently was probably the best way to ever sum up the idea of formative assessment versus summative assessment. It said this: when you're making soup and you're stirring the soup and tasting the soup, that is formative assessment. When you serve the soup to a customer in your restaurant, that is summative assessment. And I found that very insightful from the fact that, while you're doing the work, you're keeping track of what you're doing. And with that being said, that defines what formative assessment is. While the students are learning to type, you can see their progress. And I'll actually be showing you very shortly here. You can see it very, very quickly. Um, However, on the other hand, summative assessment is that's kind of the culminating, um, look at what they've done. So, in the sense of Typesy, we can certainly give typing tests to students and see where they're at. And then with Wordella, we can give vocabulary and we can give spelling tests as well. So I will tell you, um, and I stand by what I'm about to say, if you never want to grade a spelling test again, you should pay attention. Wordella can do that for you. So I will say that one more time, excuse me. If you never want to grade a spelling test again, Wordella can do that for you. So with that said, let's get started. I'm not sure what's going on with the camera today, but we're going to get off my face anyways and move along to screen sharing. So let me go ahead and get that set up. All right. So hopefully everyone is seeing what I want you to see. I am logged in again as an administrator. In Typesy, that's the first tab, the second tab. The third tab, might as well just talk about this from the get-go. People always ask us at Typesy, what are reasonable typing speed benchmarks? So we put it on our blog. If you do a quick search on the internet for reasonable typing speed benchmarks from Typesy, this would be one of your top hits for sure. So rule of thumb has always been right around 5 words per minute per grade level. So um, basically, you take the number of the grade level, you multiply it by 5, and that's approximately how many words you should be typing. So you see, kindergarten, first grade, reasonable target 4 to 5 words per minute. You go the whole way down to 12th grade, you see 55 to 60 words per minute. Why are they reasonable? They align with most district recommendations. So if you do the same search on the internet and do not include Typesy, you're going to find a lot of different school districts that have posted, whether through their curriculum maps or through standards, that they have specific words per minute expectations. Functional productivity targets, again, it's the idea of at the elementary level, you should be typing up to about 20 words a minute, whereas the middle school up to about 30 words a minute, the high school should be 40 plus. And that's something that, with that progress, you could be ready for the real world when you get to that point. So if you're, again, it says right there, entry level office productivity, in alignment with writing demands. Upper elementary handwriting averages about 10 to 15 words per minute. So if you think about it, keyboarding is done to be more efficient at getting your message out. So when we're keyboarding, we want to be working faster, typing faster than we write. So yeah, everything's there. It goes into accuracy targets as well for early elementary, roughly 85%. Um, so if we're talking about 20 words, we're talking about 17 of them correct. Grades 3 through 5, that goes up to 90, and then 6 through 12 up to 95%. So as you'll see me working today, I'm almost sure I'm not going to be pulling 100% in accuracy. That's just perfect. All right, so today I'm going to show you what this looks like. So I'm in Typesy admin. I'm going to go to a class that I've created. It is called Demo Default. And I look at all of these students. You can see right there, super user is online now. So let's go ahead and, so again, I'm in student tab in my class, Demo Default. When we go over here, instead of this list view, so you basically see everyone has a row with their first and last name, last activity, typing mastery, etc. I'm going to go ahead and switch this to card view. And what that allows me to do is actually see things as they happen. So if I look down here for super user, and I actually can ping this student. So if I ping super user, you're going to see super user up top. So again, I'm a teacher. I have however many, 25 potentially, maybe even more, hopefully not for your sake, students in my classroom, you know, just based on the setup of my classroom, I'm able to see everyone's screen from where I'm sitting and my teacher does. But I really want to focus on this particular user. So I could see what this means here. Number one is the two is their typing mastery. Typing mastery is something I'll explain, but also show you. Typing mastery is a number from 1.0 to 10.0 that is a combination of typing speed, so this speedometer here, accuracy, and then also the keyboard heat map. And we'll show you what that looks like here shortly. But what I'm going to do right now, let me talk about these numbers real quickly. 37, that means the last activity that I did, I was typing 37 words per minute with a 95% accuracy. So I'm not going to leave the screen for all of you, but what I'm going to do is go to actually my third screen here. And I am going to start typing to allow you to see what I can do. So now I'm in curriculum called Common Core at a fourth grade level. So, okay, here we go. So let me get that. So again, you might see my hands working in a different direction than my face. It's because I basically, in front of me, I have things set up with three screens. While talking and typing at the same time, I might often make mistakes. Suggest you don't do that. However, get my point across today, I'm going to do it. So I just typed 34 words per minute with an accuracy of 98. So if you keep looking right here, super user is on that. Now, I believe when I go to my next lesson, so I'm going to click continue over there, it went to 34 and 98. So again, if you missed that, I'll do this one more time. Okay, something is off here. I think it's probably because I'm trying to use all of these screens at the same time. This is really going to destroy my typing speed. Let's do this. Let's just go back. Try that one time. I'm just going to pull out a totally different lesson and stuff like that. Yeah, there's some kind of lag going on because, okay, here we go. I just typed the passage. I did a little bit better there. So I was at 41 words a minute with a 97% accuracy. You can see, I didn't even go over here yet, but that is already shown up. A few things about that that I want you to know, that is going to be an example of formative assessment. So again, students are working at their seats, you're paying attention to what they're doing. You don't necessarily have to be right behind them. Again, and what you can see now is basically because of my typing speed, my accuracy, and then the heat map. What I did was when I started this account, literally today, I was doing Typesy Kids, so I was only working with ASDF. Um, Basically, just because I'm so much more accustomed to typing actual words, um, I added curriculum for the Common Core. Therefore, I was able to type full sentences. With that being the case, that means my heat map has changed a bit, and I'll show you what that looks like actually. So I mentioned that I would tell you what that looks like. So let's do that now. So let me go ahead and share a different screen here. So this is the screen that I was typing in, or from, I should say. And if I go to my profile, again, well, you can just see it just went from like 2.9 to 3.2. And again, I just started this account this morning. But you can see there's variation. It looks like front row, top row. I'm doing a little bit more in the bottom row. Obviously, I'm not really in shift keys and punctuation much. But with that said, again, this number here, which you were able to see on the teacher screen, and this number here go into an algorithm that also includes basically the frequency that you're using the different parts of the keyboard, and that's where you get your typing mastery. So the cool thing is, you're able to come down here as a student and look at your own data, and you can see that at 7 a.m. I was at a 1, and now it's not quite accurate just yet. 2.7. Obviously, with a 3.2, I should be a little bit higher, but it's probably catching up in the database. So with that said, let me go back to the screen of the admin interface. So what I want to go to now is, first of all, I want to put this back into list view, and here's why. I'm going to click on super user. This is something I almost overlooked showing you. If I go into the user reports for this specific user, so again, you see it all kind of mapped out up here. I'm in Typesy admin, I'm in the classes section. I am in the class, specifically demo default, and I'm looking at super user. So first name, last name, all the same. If I go in here to curriculum progress, what I can actually do, and this is something that I don't bring up often enough, if I want to have a meeting with that child and say, okay, what were you doing at your seat? And they say, oh, I was typing away. What you can actually do is you can come in here and you can watch a video. I don't have the exact time frame, but it only lasts for so long. So I do know over time that we have a system in place to delete this. So as not to completely bog down our database, our servers and everything. But this was something I did earlier. You don't necessarily see this part, but I'm going to go ahead and screen play. So this was working with the shift key earlier to do capital letters. But you can literally see what I'm pressing. You can see again how quickly it's going. You can see on the right side of the screen where the words per minute is actually fluctuating as you go. So that is just an example of how you can review your current work with students. Again, this is an example of formative assessment. However, right now I'm going to go back to my class. I'm going to go to test and assignments. Okay. I put this in earlier, 5/26/26 webinar. I actually went ahead and already did it. However, I'm going to go do this one called another one. So we can actually Go back to the other screen. So let me change the screen one more time here. And we'll go back to the student view. So if you do give a test or assignment to a student, it's going to be um, in here as a task. So you can see that I have this big red uh, circle here. It tells me how the task to do. If you want to make a student do that task immediately, what you can always do is there's a setting when you create the task that you can they must complete it immediately. And what that means is basically I can't go into my courses. I can't even go look at my profile. I have to go tasks. So I'm going to go to tasks. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then we'll take a look from the admin side what this looks like. So this would be an example of a summative assessment. So maybe I've been typing for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and now I want to do something a little bit more to get potentially a grade for my student. So here we go. Again, my eyes are on my third screen here, whereas my hands are at the computer, which is basically serving as first screen. Okay, a little bit of, excuse me, of lag, but too bad. I can't tell you for this assignment if you see up in the top right corner, I did set the time that I expected to be done within. If not, it's basically just going to take the data on what the student was able to finish. But that prevents students from working, at their best ability and then, flipping out because they didn't get it done. We can avoid that issue altogether by just giving them a time limit. So when they're done, they are done. They don't have to do anymore. Oops, skip my shift. Oh, some other keys. I think this is okay. Off a little bit here. Again, got track, I believe. Now is like I said, talking and we're doing this at the same time. Not good fight. See the testing shifting ability in this one. Right, the capital letters, punctuation marks as well. I did look at this. This was like pretty long passage. I can't even estimate how many sentences there were. But let's put it this way. I set it for 3 minutes with, I think I said for 3 minutes with the expectation that there was no way I was actually going to finish it. But like I said, that is okay because you're not always going to have your students typing as fast as I am. Necessarily typing at that fast since I'm still talking to you about what I'm doing here. So this should end here in a second. Nope, I got off and missed a whole bunch of letters. So it's going to stop. Okay. So I was typing at 30 words a minute. My accuracy was 96%. I completed 48%. We're not even going to worry about the pet. Well, we'll do it just in case you've never seen it before. But this is one of our. All right, so you collected, and what that does for you is basically here you can see it increases your points. And the reason that's meaningful is basically you can make different avatars based on what point level you're on. So you can see we're still way back in the beginning. But you can also then unlock games. So you can see based on those different levels that I can reach that I can access the games. All right, enough about that though. It's not what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to go back, share admin screen. Usually I share one other screen. I think that is what is producing this extra lag today. All right. So I don't even know if we'll need to go back to the Steam interface again at this point. What you can see here is pretty much immediately, you can see that I was typing at a speed of 30 with an average accuracy of 96. So if I'm going to come in here and look at that a little bit further, super user, again, that was me. We watched it take place today, typing speed 30, accuracy 96. What that means is this number here, 30 times 0.96, so we're going to take the accuracy as a percent, is going to say that I was adjusted speed typing 28.8 words correct. I had 23 errors. It took me 223 seconds. And then it says A and rank of 1. Well, you're going to be the rank of 1 then, but there's only 1. But in terms of the A, what I want you to realize is there is a template that we're using, whether or not you realize that. Let's see here, template manage templates. That's what we use default practice template. Show you what that looks like. Okay, so again, really set the student up as kind of a fourth grader, again, what is 4 times 5, as we talked about way back, we get 20. Okay, so if we're typing 20 words a minute, we're going to get an A. We type 15 words a minute. Technically, at a third grade level, we get a B. We're doing 12. We get a C, 9, B, and 0. So this, again, is a summative assessment. What I want you to realize, though, this one does not allow for it because I didn't create this one. This was one of the ones that basically comes with the software. So I think really like that. But as you can see, I should say over here where all these pencils are, those are ones that I created. And all it takes to create one is go ahead and give it a name. So if we put demo, May 26, 26, strictly for so what I can do now is I can obviously put in grades A, B, C, D, and E, but I can also do standard grades. So I can put exceeds expectation. For the next one, I could put meets expectations below. So yes, I have been my career work on a standard based report card committee and use it in class. We could even just do this one, and we could put failure to participate. You can actually just change that to 0. Likewise, change last one. And we can hit create template. And basically, in this case, what it's going to give me is below expectation. that is simply for each word. I think it's simply should put space. Change this. Let's see what this says. Read what it said. Characters. Exceeds. It's. Oh. And we'll just cover some failure. So again, if I go back to class, I go to demo default. This was the one I was working on. I go to testing assignments. I go to the other one, which is the one I just did. I go to results and grades. And what I can do here is I can go into it in a different template. So last one on here, yep, makes sense. So you can see it is listed as failure. So again, if you are somebody that wants to collect grades when this is all said and done, you can absolutely do that. So again, that is a form of summative assessment. Now, we do not have a feature right now where you can necessarily take this and put it directly into whatever single sign-on system you're using. However, again, this product grows every 3 weeks when we do it. So keep that in mind. Again, you can play just like you could with the other one. You can also print the certificate. If there are multiple users, I believe you will then have an option to, so you see pending, these are other students in the class. You would then have the ability to at least export this as a XLS or a CSV file. So that is my summative assessment with Typesy. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and close this tab altogether and go into Wordella. So if you don't know much about Wordella, Wordella stemmed from the WordWork section of Typesy. So what you do is basically you can go in. This is what I made. I'm going to show you. All I had to do was go in and type these 10 June. So I typed in Juneteenth, July 4th, I typed in summer, I typed in vacation, I typed in Memorial, June, Father's Day, golf, camp, and fireworks. Now, I will tell you, this didn't exactly work completely because this one here, so I'm going to move it and show you how I got it there, and then this one was not here either. So I had originally typed in 4th of July. I had typed in Juneteenth. It was spelled correctly, I assure you. I'm not quite sure why it didn't appear. Basically in here, you're going to see a word. You're going to hear the definition.
Summer. Summer is when the weather gets very warm, usually after spring and before fall or autumn. Many people outside more, and schools often have a long break. You might go swimming, play outside, or enjoy ice cream because it's the hottest part of the year.
See it in different contexts. Vacation.
Vacation.
Memorial, June, Father's Day, golf, camp. Okay, this one, just so you know, here in Pennsylvania, a lot of people talk about going up to camp. And this camp has multiple definitions. So I put a place where kids go to, well, I didn't put it, this was just what it was. Okay. However, you could have a different camp for soldiers, a group of people living together in a camp, temporary lodgings in the country for travelers or vacationers. So this is probably the one we would pick again if we were talking about going up to camp for the weekend. However, you choose. If you don't like the one that's defined, you go ahead and you pick another one. And then also, if you don't like what's available, and I'll show you this real quickly, you can make your own definition. So I go in here and I put
July 4th.
Now, it doesn't look bad necessarily because there is this longer definition, but what you don't notice is you don't notice pictures. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I just copied this definition and I'm going to go in here and I'm actually going to add this to my list, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do custom definition. Okay, now again, all I did was cut and paste from before, so you can see I literally just paste the same thing. Put a period at the end, it's a sentence, I'm going to save, and now we have
July 4th.
one more.
A date of importance to Americans, celebrated as the national.
So again, you can add words to your list very easily. So Juneteenth, again, this was in there. Press the plus button, it is now on my list. So again, we're talking about assessment today. So do your students understand these words? Can they spell them? Well, there's nothing. The other one, I'm going to close down the Typesy tab as well. And we'll have Wordella open so that we, or hopefully the last time. Stop the share altogether. Let me share my screen that I want to be on. All right, so again, we've already talked about a test or assignment. In Wordella, basically you are in a class. So my class that I was working was called default class. It is the same thing. It's called test and assignments. Okay. So I've created a spelling test and then a vocabulary test. So let's go in and do this. So again, this is more a summative assessment, but we'll start with the vocabulary. I'll explain why I'm starting with that in a second. So complete vocabulary test. And again, these are based on those 10 words that all we had to do was type a structure built to honor and remember people or events. The new memorial, place where kids go to do fun things. And read more. That's going to be camp. Third Sunday in June. I think that's going to be Father's Day. Sport, we hit a ball into a small hole. That's golf. Device containing gunpowder. That's going to be fireworks. Date importance. So that's going to be July 4th. You see, it's part of the definition. It's a 6-month year coming after May before July, June. A period of time when you stop working. Juneteenth is an American holiday. Obviously, it's already in there, so you know what it is. And the announcement that will be summer. So it'll probably give me a pet to hatch here in a second, and it's going to tell me about 100%. Okay, so let's go ahead and hatch another pet. Just so you know. So, okay, I should be able to get back now. Okay. I apologize about this. Okay, so the spelling test is now here. Now, the reason I said I wanted to do the vocabulary test first. When you do the vocabulary test, you are going to see the words. You're going to see the words as answers. Okay, it gives you another chance to work on that spelling or to remember that spelling. So I'm going to go
Summer.
And if you didn't hear that,
Summer.
It will do that, and then it will also show you up to 2 clues. Now, I understand you might not want this feature there. We are looking to add a feature where you can just disable the clues. But for now, I'm just going to show you what it would look like. So from here, I go in, I type,
Golf.
This one is golf.
Memorial.
Memorial.
Vacation. Father's Day.
Now, I will tell you here, whoops, situation where you know when things are proper nouns.
Juneteenth.
Now this one happens to already be on the screen. It's not
July 4th.
hard to do that one. This one is also on the screen.
June. Camp.
Fireworks.
All right, so again, I got a 10 out of 10. We're not going to worry about this right now. I'm actually going to close this screen. And let's go real quickly because I know we're up to just about the 45-minute mark, and that's where I try to keep these. So let me go back to desktop. Again, I'm back in here in tests and assignments. So the spelling test. Well, let's go with the vocabulary first. So also for today, what you can see in here is the student got 100%. If they weren't to get 100%, I can't tell you that right now. It would tell you the missing word, the word that was missed. That is, again, a feature we're looking to add. And you might hear me, if this is the first time you're watching one of these Tech Training Tuesdays, mention, oh, we're going to add this, we're going to add this, we're going to make this change. That's just how we work, okay? Our product is really a fluid product in the sense that we get customer feedback and we make changes. And we do that every 3 weeks. And I can tell you that because I've watched it happen for 6 years now. So in this case, again, you could throw it in the grade book and say, okay, you just got a 10 out of 10. I mean, I specifically put in 10 words, so we'd be working with easy percents. Then I can go back and I can go to today only, which was the spelling test. And again, I can tell you that they got 100%. So again, if they were to miss one, that score would say 90%. The grade would probably be different based on the template that we would have already created, but it's not going to necessarily tell you which one was missed. If I do go in here, let's see if I can do this. Go in to today only. Yeah, I can't even click in there to replay it because I can then watch it. That's again not an option now, but that doesn't mean it won't be there in the future. So just to recap, I'm going to stop sharing completely. Lots of formative assessment that goes on with Typesy. Again, you can, as the teacher, be in the student tab of your class, and you can simply flip it from list view to card view, and you can literally watch students' scores, words per minute, and accuracy update every time they finish one of the mini lessons. With summative assessment, you can assign anything you want, really. Okay, when it creates a test or assignment for you, I think we have something like 22,000 already pre-made. However, if you just want to put in a few sentences, you can go in there, type those, and then the students would be, you know, expected to type whatever you type verbatim for a grade. Obviously, then with Wordella, are limited in capacity at this point in terms of there's only so much that you can gather right now. For instance, one of the things we have heard feedback about was if students are going in and taking the Wordella quiz, and let's say you have 10 students and 6 of them missed the same word. We want to be able to produce a report for you that can tell you that 60% of your students missed that word. And again, these are things that we will continue to work on to improve the product. But again, yeah, right now in Wordella, it's just going to tell you how many you missed, not necessarily what you missed for both the vocab, which we did first, and then the spelling as well. But yeah, it's just about 12:45 on my clock here. Again, I'm Matthew Strine, Chief Learning Officer with eReflect. I hope you learned something today about how Wordella and Typesy can both help you with assessment, specifically with Typesy. Lots of formative assessment, obviously in the profile. You're going to see, those Uh, Graphs go up pretty quickly because you're starting with, the expectation that you really don't know the keyboard, but as you learn it and expose yourself toward more of it, your typing mastery will get closer to that number 10, which is ultimately the best it can get. Mine, personally is like a 5 point something because I've never gone in and done certain types of lessons. So numbers and symbols, I've not gotten to that point yet. Summative assessment as well with Typesy, and then certainly summative assessment with Wordella. I'm gonna let you know today was the last Tech Training Tuesday of the 25-26 school year. This was our fourth installment. What that means is we're going to be off for the next few months. Not me necessarily. I have plenty of content to create to continue to improve our products, but I won't pick up the next Tech Training Tuesday probably until about September, and we'll probably do September, October, November, maybe skip December, and then we'll pick them back up in the spring, late winter, early spring again next year. So it's been a pleasure. Hopefully, even though you didn't necessarily attend this session, hopefully you got a chance to watch this and see how assessment factors into the work we do here at Beautiful. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great summer, and believe it or not, we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.